I'm Cynthia Jenkins. I'm the owner of Elevated HR Consulting, and we are a fully certified consulting and outsourcing firm. You can reach us at 678-588-5992, or please feel free to visit our website at www.elevated-hr.com. Well, good morning again. I am Cynthia Jenkins. I'm the owner of Elevated HR Consulting. We are a full service, fully certified HR consulting and outsourcing firm. Our office is in McDonough, but we actually serve clients all throughout the U.S. We're federally certified, so even though we don't like some of the laws in some of the other states, we can still do it. Um, we are a full service HR consulting and outsourcing firm, so we actually pride ourselves in building unique packages because, as we know, no two businesses are the same, right? Like some may need a lot of help, and others may just need little small projects here and there, maybe an investigation, or you want to hire once in a lifetime, something like that. So we do build all of our packages around each individual business. Okay, so here's our agenda today. We're going to talk a little bit about what is HR, what do we do. Some of it may surprise some people, some things may not. And then I'm going to touch on two really hot topics in HR right now, including recruiting and workplace compliance. And then hopefully we'll have a little bit of time for questions. So let's get started with what is human resources. We have a lot of different perceptions of HR. Employee trading is a common area for us. Therapists. My goodness, I am a therapist every day. Trust managers, employees alike. We are your chosen therapist, workplace therapist. The Terminator. That one's always fun, right? We get that name a lot. We don't like it. And then my personal favorite, of course, is Superwoman. And in fairness, we HR professionals might think of ourselves as a Superwoman because of all the different things that we have to deal with. Right? This is about 1%, by the way, so it's a lot. But nonetheless, there's a lot of different things going on in the HR world. But in a nutshell, some of the things we help you do as a business are control your budget. So we're going to help you do things like hire people at the right price, what makes sense for you, you're still competitive. Help keep your top performers. Most people understand that it actually costs more to hire someone than to retain the employees you already have, right? So we help you retain your top performers. Avoid risk. We're going to do things like make sure you have proper documentation in place in case you ever get hit with one of those fancy DOL or FLSA claims. Resolve conflicts, aka employee relations. Right, employees are messy. I like to say that. I stole that from one of my colleagues, but people are messy. So, HR can help with all of that good stuff. Improve productivity and satisfaction. So we deal with your employees for you. Again, sometimes they can be messy, right? So HR comes in, we help make sure that you've got the proper policies and procedures in place, that everybody understands what they should be doing, how the company functions, all that kind of good stuff, right? And then ideally, ultimately, all of this should help improve your company image. So now that everyone has a full understanding of what HR does, right? We're going to jump into some of these topics that I was talking about. First one is recruiting. I think it's probably everybody's favorite right now. We can talk about recruiting all day long. I just noticed that my clicks aren't working, so you probably could have done this after all. So first is a tight labor market. What does it look like out there right now? There's more job openings than there are people, qualified people, to fill it, right? And then evolving candidate expectations is always one of my favorite things to talk about. You don't have to raise your hand, but if you're brave enough and want to, how many of you have interviewed someone that maybe thinks they're on a level, or they're actually on a level here, but maybe thinks they're on a level up here? Anyone? Yeah. Like they just graduated high school last month, but have no real life experience or skills, and their minimum salary requirement is $70,000. $70,000 a year? Anybody feel that? Lots of fun. Lots of fun. But that is the world we are in right now. Candidates have these really high expectations of what their next position should look like. And how about this? Some of you can appreciate this. So how many people have interviewed someone that think that you should offer, as a mom and pop business, maybe you just started a year or two ago, you should offer the same employee benefits as the Fortune 500 companies? Anyone? It happens more often than we like to admit. Another one, benefits, medical benefits, right? Like employees that work for a company with maybe 5 whole total employees think that they should get the really high group level benefit. That one's fun. Josh can attest to that, I'm sure. And how about pay, though? How about pay? The average pay for an administrative assistant right now is probably about $15 and $18 an hour, but you get those candidates again that just graduated high school and they come in and they want 25. Yeah, it happens all the time. Now, okay, in fairness, employees should be offered certain benefits, right? They should get fair pay. They should be able to work in a safe and comfortable working environment. I mean, there's a lot of things that you should be offering employees that make sense, right? Reasonable things. But the bottom line is, employees just expect so much more today than they did 5, 10 years ago. And as businesses, we've got to be able to keep up with that. And then finally, there's this increasing need for an efficient, high-quality recruiting process. It's a big deal. Recruiting is not fun. I don't know if anybody's tried it. It's not fun, okay? Again, people are messy. I can't say that enough. People are messy. But the thing is, the companies need to hire like yesterday, right? You needed employees so long ago. You needed help. And then workers, they wanted a job like yesterday, right? They don't want to wait for a job. A lot of them are just applying for anything under the sun, and they're just waiting for the first person to call them back, and they're going to take that job. But you have to move fast as an employer, right? You don't want to leave anybody hanging. You have to move so fast that you don't miss out on a good opportunity, but not fast enough that you jump the gun and make a bad hire, right? It's a lot to keep up with. So, most businesses face a lot of challenges when it comes to recruiting. First and foremost, most businesses just don't have a whole recruiting team or even person dedicated specifically to recruiting, right? Lack of resources, lack of money. I mean, most of us don't have, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 laying around to just drop on an internal ATS system to help keep up with all our applicants, to house their information. Maybe use AI to match some people to some qualities. It's not common in businesses. Most don't do that. And then a lot of businesses, whoever they have in charge of recruiting, they just lack the expertise for recruiting, right? Not everybody knows how to do it. It's a hard job. Not everybody knows what you can and can't ask. Did you know that it's illegal to ask an applicant if they have children, if they're married, if they have physical illness? Yeah, it's a lot. Some don't know. You don't know what you don't know. That's one of my favorite things. And then there's also this challenge of navigating a large talent pool. As a real-life example, I have a client out in Columbus, Georgia. We posted a warehouse job, just generic shipping and receiving job, about a month ago. 650 applicants. Who's got time to go through 650 applicants? Anyone? I do it for a living. I don't even have time for this. So, how do you navigate that large candidate pool? How do you track the information? Did you know that you're required by law to keep applicant information for a certain period of time? So those 650 applicants, where are all their resumes? Where Where do you have them? Where are their applications? Did you interview, let's say, 10 of them? Where are the interview notes? We've got to think about all this. And again, most small businesses don't have the capacity to house all this information nor keep up with it. Do you have easy access to previous applicants? What if you hired someone for a position, they made it 3 days and quit? It happens. It happens a lot. Well, but you interviewed somebody else, and they were a good candidate too. Did you keep their information so you can go back and call them? Do you have an applicant tracking system where you can just type in the name and pull them back up and have all their information right there and call them back? Again, things that businesses may or may not have handy. So, businesses aren't prepared for recruiting sometimes, not all the time. So what do you do? What do you do if you don't have somebody dedicated to recruiting internally? All right, so job descriptions. You need to make sure you have accurate and thorough job descriptions for every position you're hiring for. Okay, this is going to help you internally and the applicant. It's going to help you as the person interviewing and recruiting to know what you're looking for, to know that the applicant checks all the boxes. But it's also going to help the applicant know what they're applying for, right? As I mentioned, you've got all kinds of people out there that are just getting on Indeed and clicking apply, 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 apply. If you don't have an accurate job description that says what they're going to be doing, the minimum requirements, that's what you're going to get. You're going to get some of them anyway because they don't pay attention. But at least if you have it, people are going to know what they're applying for, and they're going to know whether or not they should even be considering applying for it. And then prepare for interviews. Guys, take it from me, you never want to wing an interview. Okay, you want to be prepared. Have an agenda. Make sure that your questions are, for one, legally appropriate. You know, again, don't ask them if they have children or if they're married or anything like that. But also that they're fair across the board. You don't want to ask applicant A a set of 10 questions and then ask applicant B a whole other set of questions. You don't want to do that. That's going to lead to discriminatory, bad hiring, all kinds of stuff. And then act quickly. Do not leave people hanging. Please, for the love of God, we have all been there. We have all been job hunters at some point in our life. The only thing that's worse than being rejected is never hearing back at all, right? So we need to be respectful of the people that take the time to apply for our jobs, even if we're never going to talk to them because they just don't check all the boxes. But then also, you know, when I say act quickly, if a candidate looks good on their application, if they look good on paper to you, chances are they look good to somebody else too, right? So if they applied for, 5 jobs and you wait 3 weeks to reach out to them for an interview, what do you think they're going to say when you finally call them? I'm sorry, I took an offer elsewhere. You have to act quickly when it comes to recruiting. I'm going to hop into the next one, which is workplace compliance. It is my favorite. I am a nerd. I am a compliance nerd. I love this stuff. So you guys just have to bear with me through it. So workplace compliance. My picture is just all over top of this. That's okay. Why should we care about workplace compliance? Why should business owners give a hoot about if they're compliant or not? Well, for starters, we probably all want to avoid lawsuits, claims, fines, reputational damage, things like that. Just guessing, maybe not. And in order to do that, we've got to be able to keep up with the constantly changing labor laws. And I do mean constantly changing. In Georgia, last year alone, just to name a few, some of the changes were overtime eligibility. Employment posters changed, a couple of them. So, if you have employment posters from 2020, you might want to change them. They've updated. Pregnancy and lactation accommodations are now a thing. Why it took so long, nobody knows. But it is officially a thing as of 2024 in Georgia and many other states. Voting leave has changed. Does everybody know that you actually have to pay employees to go vote now? Yes, if they can't do it outside working hours and they're having to take time off work, you are required to pay them. New Georgia law. So procedures for all this, right? We've got everything updated. Yeah. Keeping your business compliant is not a simple task. So let's talk about some of the complexities. So, as I mentioned, a lot of the rules and regulations are changing, depending on if you do business in Georgia alone or maybe different states. Maybe you have remote employees in other states. You've got to keep up with all the changing labor laws. And there are a lot of industry-specific requirements as well. I'm sure Wanda and Kelly can attest to that because financial is definitely one of them that are a little more stringent than some of the others. Healthcare is always my favorite. I love to pick on healthcare because they're insane. You have to have a lot of different things for employees in healthcare. Keep up with a lot of stuff. Background checks, they're required. For private industries, maybe not. You don't have to do it by law, but for healthcare, you do. And you have to have it on file. They have to have documented CEUs every year. And speaking of documentation, it is so very important to have proper documentation for everything you do. And I do mean everything. So, what do you need to document? How long should you keep document? How long are you obligated to retain personnel files? Payroll reports. These are all things that you have to think about as a business. And then there's my personal favorite, worker classifications. My poor B&I people have heard me talk about this so much, but it is so very important to know how to classify your workers. So do you know how to classify workers? Do you know the difference between 1099s and W-2s? Do you know the difference between exempt and non-exempt? Who gets overtime? Who doesn't? See, so many people think that they can just choose how to classify their employees. I love it. So, if you don't want to pay benefits, taxes on your employees, I'll just make them a 1099. Or, I don't want to pay overtime. My office manager works 65 hours a week, but I'm not paying that overtime, so she's just going to be salaried. Guys, you do not get to choose. Oh, my personal favorite. It's industry standard. Just because it's industry standard does not make it legal. Trust me. So, are you classifying your workers correctly? What happens if you don't? Just to give you a little real-life example, the last FLSA claim I helped settle for clients, $65,000. One employee. And then side note, just for anybody that has multiple employees, if you get one COL claim, one FLSA claim, I promise you will get multiple. It is never just one. Once that ball starts rolling, you're going to get a lot of claims. So, again, obviously a lot going on in the compliance world. What do you do? How do you stay compliant? Policies. Again, sorry being on guys. Handbook. You have to have an employee handbook. If you have one or more employees, it is a necessity. It is the foundation of your business. It is going to save your world. It's a game changer. If you don't have one, get one, please. Again, make sure your workers are classified correctly. Conduct audits. It's better to be proactive than reactive. We've heard that a million times, right? And HR is one of those things that you don't really know you need it until it's too late. But guess what? Once it is too late, there's not a whole lot we can do for you. That's when you need a lawyer. So be proactive. Do internal audits to figure out if anything needs to change. Sign up for HR newsletters and blogs. Education is out there. It is so easy. Sign up for the newsletter. Follow HR firms on social media. We are constantly putting out free information that can help you with your business. Trust me, I do it all the time. Free information is right there. Sign up for it. And then support. Again, you want to be proactive, not reactive. Don't wait to call an HR person after you have a claim. Be proactive. And guys, AI and the internet are great for a lot of things, okay? You can get a lot of useful information, but trust me when I say you do not want to use a robot For human resources, you're going to want a certified, knowledgeable, experienced professional to help you out with real life HR situations. All right, so practical next steps. What do you do with all this information as a business owner? Evaluate your current HR challenges, if you have any. Not everybody does. If you're a sole proprietor, you have no employees, you probably don't need HR, don't waste your time. But if you have one or more employees, you may want to start thinking about it. Do you need help with recruiting? Are your workers classified correctly? Do you need to create or revise your policies? Is your policy 10 years old? It's probably time to revise it. And are you confident that you're compliant with all the different federal, state, and industry-specific rules and regulations? Is your business compliant? And then decide if those challenges are something you can tackle in-house or not. Some people can, but if you're not one of those people, get support. Take advantage of the complimentary consultation we offer them, other firms offer them. Take advantage of it and figure out if having that external resource is going to be beneficial for you. Partnering with an HR firm, whether it's us or anybody else, we are more than just the people that you're handing off the task that you don't want to do, right? We're more than that. We're dedicated partners. We act as an extension of your team to help you with things like recruiting and compliance. So, that is all I have today. I haven't been looking at the time, so I don't know if we have time for questions, but if we do, fire away.
What's the worst that can happen because you ask someone or they marry him kids?
What's the worst that can happen? They go file a claim with the DOL, and they find out that you are discriminatory with your hiring practices. You get dropped with, I don't know, a $10,000, $15,000, $100,000 fine.
Yeah. I hate corporate. Like, how stupid, right? You just want to hire somebody to join your family business and you just want to get to know them.
Yes.
So stupid.
The more extended answer is it depends on the person.
Yeah.
Some people take no offense. Like if you were to ask me if I'm married, if I have kids, that's fine. I'll tell you. But other people are very particular about it. It's God help if you ask them anything personal, they are going
It's funny
to.
you say that because when we had a finance company and I've just been self-employed my whole life, down in business. And my partner came from the corporate world, and when we had to hire people, he was saying, "Mark, you can't say that." I'm like, "What? I'm just being human."
Yeah.
So that's weird.
Yeah.
Corporate life.
Yeah, 10 years ago it was fine, right?
Yeah.
Nobody would have said anything. Now we're a sue happy country, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
It works on both ends too. Sometimes